Cristiano, let me start just by asking you, why are you doing this interview with me?
Because I think it's the time to say something, and because I like you. As simple as that.
Well, don't say that in public. Well, I like you too, and I appreciate it, because I think that you've had to sustain a lot of criticism this year in particular, probably more than at any stage in your career. And I think it's time to set the record straight and to clear up a few things, not least, I suspect, for the fans of Manchester United. You must be wondering what the hell's been going on.
No, as I say many times, the fans, I'm always gonna say good about them. They are the most important things in football. You play for them, they're always on my side. I feel that every time when I walk in the streets, the fans coming to me, and they appreciate what I did, what I do for football. And for me, it's the most important in football. The fans, for me, is everything.
I want to take you back to last summer. You're at Juventus, and there's massive speculation about where you're going to go. And the big rumour is that you're going to go to Manchester City. So first of all, how close was that to happening?
Well, honestly, it was close. It was close. It's something that they spoke a lot, and Guardiola say 2 weeks ago, I guess, that they try hard to have me. But as you know, as my history in Manchester United, your heart, your feeling, the way, the history that you did before make the difference. And of course, as well, Sir Alex Ferguson. So I was surprised in the same way, but it was conscious decision because the heart speaking loud in that moment.
You were a Manchester United legend, so when you say your heart led you, it's because of that, the history you had with the club and the relationship you maintained with Sir Alex, with the fans.
I think it was the key. It was the difference in that moment. But I cannot be loyal if I would say that Manchester City wasn't close. But I think I did conscious decision. I don't regret in some point, and as you mentioned before, Sir Alex Ferguson was the key.
Did you speak to him before you
Yes, I
came
did.
back?
Yes, I did. I spoke with him, and
What did he say to you to try and persuade you?
he said to me that it's impossible for you to come to Manchester City. And I say, okay, boss. So I took the decisions, and I repeat I was with conscience that it was a good decision.
You came back and it couldn't have started better. You played at Old Trafford. Yeah, you won 4-1 against Newcastle. You scored twice. Sir Alex was there, loving it, obviously, the return of the prodigal son. Your mother was there, the return of her own son. Your mother was crying, obviously.
Obviously, yes.
But what a comeback. How did that feel that day when you came off the pitch?
Well, that feeling was amazing, but not only the day of the game. I felt before the week before that everything changed. The world speak about me, Christiano, back home, back where they belong. So it was a special moment to be back to Manchester United, to perform for our fans, and of course to score 2 goals was the best welcome that I received in Old Trafford. It was a memorable day and unbelievable day too.
The Viva Ronaldo chant went up.
Yes, Viva Ronaldo.
You like hearing that?
Be back, of course I did. Yeah. As I told you before, the fans for me, they are everything.
2 things happened, I think within 24 hours of you re-signing for United. One, you broke the all-time record for shirt sales in 24 hours. You actually beat a guy called Messi, PSG. You must have been happy about that.
Of course I do. As you know, I don't follow the records. The records follow me. So It's good. Another one in my book.
And the other one was the Manchester United tweet announcing that you were rejoining the club. Was the most tweeted or most liked tweet, I think, in Twitter history.
It's good, as I told you before. It was a good moment. Nobody expect, because things change around, in my opinion, in 72 hours, which is you plan, or they spoke, not only Manchester City but other clubs too, spoke about your name, that you will change Juventus for another club. But Manchester United wasn't there, wasn't in that thought of that teams, but surprised everybody, even me, to be honest.
After a few weeks, things weren't going well at Manchester United. The club just wasn't firing, and in the end, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the manager, got sacked. And that's within like 2 months of you coming back. What were you feeling about what was going on at United, and what did you feel generally about the club itself and the state that the club was in compared to when you'd been there before?
Piers, to be honest, when I signed for Manchester United, I thought everything was changed, because it's 13 years that I changed. I was in Real Madrid 9 years and 3 in Juventus, and when I arrived I thought everything will be different, you know, the technology, the infrastructures and everything, but I was surprised in a bad way, let's say in that way, because I saw everything was the same. And Manchester, it wasn't in that moment that, as you mentioned, that Ole was sacked. Michael Carrick, he assumed the job for two games, Villarreal and Chelsea away, and everything was so fast, but surprised me a lot. Instability in the club, everything was kind of the same that I
Had moved on.
No, they stop on the clock, in my opinion, which is something that surprised me. I didn't expect, and slowly they start to change. Even the windows, the new players, and was tough. Was tough for me because I didn't expect that. And
because when you were there before, if Manchester United wanted a player under Sir Alex Ferguson, they normally got their man. Right now, it's a very different environment. After many years of failure since Sir Alex retired, United weren't getting the top players anymore. So were you surprised by that dynamic changing as well? Because you would have been used before to them, if they're wanting top players, they got them.
I was surprised. I thought when I signed, that they signed in that year Sancho and Varane plus me, that things will be in the way that Manchester should be. As you mentioned, well, Sir Alex Ferguson left a big gap in the club. Not only Sir Alex Ferguson, but one person that I thought make the difference, David Gill, the president, a very, very good man. And the structure around Sir Alex Ferguson was very important too. I knew that Manchester United wasn't the same, but I don't see that it was so big gap, so big things that go through by the last 10 years. And it was the thing that surprised me more, to be honest.
It was little things like even the swimming pool that the players use, the saunas, all these facilities. Nothing had changed since you'd left in 2009.
Nothing changed. Surprisingly, not only the pool, the jacuzzi, even the gym. Even some points, the technology, the kitchen, the chefs, which is I appreciate, lovely persons. They stop in a time which is it surprised me a lot. I thought I will see different things, as I mentioned before, technology, infrastructure, but unfortunately we see many things that I'm used to see when I was 20, 21, 23, so surprised me a lot.
You'd also, of course, as you said, you've been at Real Madrid and Juventus, where you saw them moving all the time to progress with technology, the latest thing, to improve performance levels. So you were able to compare what you'd experienced there with what was not happening at United.
In United, the progress was zero, in my opinion. To compare with Real Madrid and even Juventus, that they follow the recent world. So the technology, especially the terms of training, nutrition, and conditions of eat properly and to recover better than before, surprised me. Manchester right now, to compare with that club, I think it's behind, in my opinion, which is something that surprised me. A club with this dimension should be in the top of the tree, in my opinion, and they are not. Unfortunately, they are not in that level, but I hope the next years they can reach to be in the top level.
When you look at, United have had some of the best managers in the world follow Sir Alex Ferguson, and they've all been relative failures compared to other stages of their careers. Do you think that partly that's down to the structural element of this, and there just isn't the support that top managers need?
I don't know what's going on, but since the Sir Alex Ferguson left, I saw not evolution in the club. The progress was zero. For example, we have an interesting point that how the club as Manchester United, after Ole, they bring sport directive Ralph Rangnick, which is something that nobody understands. This guy is not even a coach. A bigger club like Manchester United bring sport directive. Surprised not only me, but all the world,
Well, it was a ridiculous decision, wasn't it?
Of course, in my opinion, you have to be honest. If you're not even a coach, how are you gonna be the boss of Manchester United? It's something that I should see that Manchester has not followed not the right way to reach successful like other teams, like for example Liverpool, Manchester City, Chelsea. They are one step behind, and two, because of this kind of mistakes, in my opinion, they should improve and change probably the staff or the people, the directives or presidents. I don't know who is the problem there, but
did it show a lack of ambition to you when they replaced Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who a lot of fans liked, but he obviously wasn't delivering the big titles that United wanted and were used to. But to a point, someone like Ralph Rangnick, I'd never heard of him. And I'm thinking, had you heard of him?
No, of course not.
You'd never heard of this guy?
Nobody, and the people who I speak, nobody knew it. Who is him?
And suddenly did you call him the boss?
Of course, I respect. We have to call because he assumed the job. Regardless, all the coaches that I had in my career, I call them boss because if they assume the job, we have to call him that way. But in the end, deep inside me, I never saw him as a boss because I saw some points that I never agreed, and he stopped in the time as well. Because if you're not being a coach, the next 5 years, you're gonna lost the identity of to be a coach. So surprised me a lot. But in the same way, don't surprise me a lot because if you see the structures, they keep it the same. So the coaches didn't surprise me, but it was a tough moment.
What was extraordinary was very quickly after Rangnick took over, he started briefing journalists that you weren't pressing enough and that maybe it would be a good idea if you moved on from the club. And I'm like, who is this guy? And why is he saying this to the man who's scoring the goals?
To be honest, Piers, it's something that I don't understand. It's the new coaches that coming around, they think they find the last Coca-Cola in the desert, which is that I don't understand. The football there invents many years. So, but I respect any coach has a different approach, different opinions, different mentality. But kind of some points that you not agree. So I'm always like that in my life. I'm always been beside the best coaches in the world: Zidane, Ancelotti, Mourinho, Fernando Santos, Allegri. So I had kind of some experience because I learned from them. And when you see some coaches that they're coming, that they want to revolution the football, I not agree. I have my opinion, they agree or they disagree, but it's part of the business, because in the end of the day, I'm in a club to win, and with my experience, I want to help, like always, and some coaches that don't accept, and it's part of the job.
Did you know what he was doing, Rangnick, or not? At a club like United?
No, they don't. They knew with the club very well, but they don't know the dimension of the club inside, the history of the club, which is for me surprised me even more, which is when you suck Ole Solskjaer, you should bring a top manager, not sport director.
Did you think he was right to get rid of Solskjaer, or would you have kept him on?
Well, it's not. Well, I love Solskjaer. I think he was a top person, because what I keep inside my heart is the heart of the person, and Ole for me is a top person. Coach, of course, he wasn't. He didn't look for what he wants. It's hard to assume after Sir Alex Ferguson, but I think he did a good job. For sure, he need more time, but I'm never doubt that he's going to be a good coach in the future. But it was a good experience. I was so pleased to work with him, even a short period.
What about the younger players, and specifically their mentality? Because it seemed to me, just from what I was reading, when you were originally at Manchester United as a young 18-year-old, that you had huge respect for the older players, the Keanes and these guys in the dressing room, and you would soak up their experience, their wisdom and so on. Did you get that same respect, do you think, from the younger players?
I don't mean that they don't respect the experienced players or the oldest players. I don't think that word is the best one, but they live in a different era. I can see my kid, they have 12 years old. The mentality, they are not the same. They are not suffer that.
What's the difference?
The anger. I think the anger. I think that they have the things more easily. Everything it's easily. They don't suffer. And I think they don't care. I don't mean only a few in Manchester United, but all the teams, all leagues in the world, the youngers, they are not the same of my generation. But we cannot blame them, because it's part of the life, the new generation and the new technologies, they avoid, they distract them for another thing. But they are not the same. They listen, but this is why we have 2 years. You listen from one side and they go away for another side. So don't surprise me, but in the same way, it's a little bit shame, because if they have the best examples in front of your eyes, and if they don't at least copy what you did for me, it's kind of weird, because I remember when I was 18, 19, 20s, I'm always look to see the best players, like Mr. Roy, Ferdinand, Roy Keane, and gigs. This is why I have the successful that I have and longevity, because I take care of my body, my mentality, my head, because I see these guys and I learn from them.
When you try and give advice to these younger players, what do you say to them? What do you try and guide them to be like?
I think the best advice, I'm not the kind of guy to like to give advice. I prefer to be as example.
Yes.
Because I'm an example. I'm there every morning. I do it the same stuff. I'm probably the first ones to arrive and the last ones to go out. I think the details speak for themselves. So, because as I told you before, they listen one thing and in 2 minutes they already forgot and do it whatever they think it's better. This is why I say I like to lead by example. And some ones they follow me, not much, but
see, I just find that incredible. That if I was a young footballer and I had Christiano Ronaldo at my club, that I wouldn't want to spend every second watching him, listening to him, observing the way you go about your business. And yet, from what you're saying, clearly, they're not interested.
They don't care. Some ones yes, but most of them no. But for me, it's not surprise me. Don't surprise me because they're not gonna have longevity careers, in my opinion. It's impossible. It's impossible to see, for example, my generation, you see many players, they reach 36, 37, 38 in a high level. I think this generation, you're gonna count by your hands how many gonna reach in that level. Because these years of preparation, it helps a lot.
Who are the players in the world that you most admire for their mental strength, their attitude?
It's a difficult question because I'm always can say what I see from my eyes. For example, if you tell me what I see, for example, in Manchester United, I can mention probably Dalot, Diogo Dalot. His example is young, but he's very, very professional. And I'm not doubt that he's gonna have longevity in the football because he's young, he's smart, intelligent, and he's very professional. You have a few ones more, but like him, it's difficult to see. Probably Martinez, Casemiro's 30s, but I will say Dalot.
So Rangnick's come then, it's your second manager, it's not working, the results aren't great. You're still scoring goals regularly for Manchester United. You're about the only one who is. But then you get hit by an awful episode in your life, probably the worst time of your life, where your partner, Georgina, she's pregnant with twins and is actually giving birth to these two babies. And your baby son doesn't survive. And I don't think I can imagine, I have 4 kids, 4 children. You know, you can't imagine a worse thing to happen than to go a full term of pregnancy, particularly for the mother in that case, but also for you. What was that like for you, that time in your life?
It's probably the worst moment that I passed through my life since my father died. You know, when you have a kid, that you expect that everything will be normal, and you have that problem. It's hard, you know, as human being that I am. In Georgina, we had quite difficult moments because we don't understand why happened to us. Was difficult, to be honest. Was very, very difficult to understand what's going on in that period of our life. As you know, the football carry on. They are so fast, many competitions. The football don't stop. We have many competitions. And pass through in that moment was probably the most difficult moment that I had in my life. Me and my family, especially Gio, that was tough.
She said she was giving an interview about the new series of her TV show. And she said in an interview, a big piece of my heart shattered. And I asked myself how I could carry on. I had the answer nearer than I thought. I looked into the eyes of my children, and there I saw the only way of doing it being all together.
Yeah, I saw too. Yeah, this is why what we did. I helped my family, especially Gio, and we had the difficult moments, but we said, listen, we have more kids. We have one that's born, Bella, that we have to be happy too.
It's such a difficult situation again where you're mourning the terrible loss of your little baby boy, but also celebrating the birth of your beautiful daughter.
I try to explain sometimes to my family and even my close friends. They say, I never felt to be happy and sad in the same moment.
Yes.
I never felt. It is hard to explain.
So difficult.
So difficult. You don't know if you cry or you don't know if you smile.
Yes.
Because it's something that you don't know how to react. You don't know what to do, to be honest. And of course, I remember very well that I look like, I don't know the word that to define what I felt in that moment, but it's crazy feeling, it's crazy emotional. But as I told you before, I have to hold that we had at least Bella, which is the most important. One die and one survive. But it's difficult to explain.
How did you explain it all to your other children? They must have been so confused about
In the beginning, Gio arriving home and the kids start to say, "Where's another baby? Where's another baby?" Of course, Christiano, I had conversation with him in the day because he's 12 years old. He knows, he understands everything. And I had a nice conversation with him. We cried together in his bedroom, and he explained, and it's kind of, he didn't understand. He understand, but in the same way, he was a little bit confused. The other ones in the beginning, in the table, the kids start to say, "Mom, where is the other baby, blah, blah, blah." And Gio, in the beginning, they start to say, because, you know, she had a little bit belly, because they had two, it's hard process. And after 1 week, I say, you know, let's be frontal, let's be honest with the kids. Let's say that Angel, which is the name, they go to the heaven. It's better to say in that way.
Yeah.
And we start to use that in that way, and the kids always understand when we had shots in the table, and they say, "Daddy, I did this for Angel," and they point out for the sky, which is I say and I like it the most because you know it's part of the lives, and I'm not gonna lie to my kids to say the truth, which was a difficult process, but in the same way I become more father, more friendly of them. They become more close to his daddy, especially me with Georgine as well.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that, because these things, they can make or break relationships, because the grief can be so intense. It can drive couples apart, or it can bring them closer.
In my case, it was better in that way. I become more friendly of Gio. I was of course friend, but I see more lovely for her and for my kids, and I start to see the life with a different perspective. You understand? Which is coming the point of, if you're gonna ask me for sure, the pre-season moments.
Yes.
For example, why I didn't go to the pre-season.
Yes, I'm going to come to that.
But it was just to finish in that chapter was the most difficult moment. The last since my dad died, it was this moment that I passed through the last 6 months.
Do you feel your son is with you in spirit? Do you feel
For
that?
sure. For sure, his ashes is with me, like my daddy. They are here in
Really?
my house. Yes. It's something that I want to hold for the rest of my life. I'm not throw to the ocean or to the sea. I keep with me. They are next to my daddy. I don't know if you check. I have a small church down, and
You do?
Yes, I do.
Like a little chapel?
Yes, chapel, and I keep my daddy and my son.
You talk to them?
Yes, I do. I talk to them every time, and that they are in my side. They help me to be a better man, to be a better person, to be a better father, and it's something that I'm really, really proud that the message that they send me, especially my son.
You had an extraordinary reaction from football fans, obviously from Manchester United, but I think you must have been so surprised by the outpouring of not just support, but Liverpool fans sang on the 7th minute of their next game, "You'll never walk alone." The cop, the great infamous enemy of Manchester United. What did you feel when you heard that?
I never ever expect that. Never. I had the opportunity now to say, all English community, thank you a lot for that kind of that they had with me. Not only Liverpool, but all England. I felt.
I was at Arsenal when you played, and on the 7th minute, the whole crowd.
I received a letter from the Queen family as well.
Really?
Yes, I do. Which is
From the Queen herself? Or?
family. Yeah. And surprised me a lot.
Offering their condolences?
Yes.
Wow.
Unbelievable. This is why I say I respect a lot the English community, English people, because they've been very kind with me, and that difficult moment of my life was spectacular. The way they treat me and my family in that difficult moment. I should say straight to the crowd, thank you to all English community that helped me in that moment.
When the Queen sadly died in September, you posted a very nice tribute to her was part of the reason because of what they had
Of course.
been like with you.
Of course, they've been so kind of with me, and this is why I did what I did. But it was unbelievable moment. I'm never ever gonna forget that moment.
You have a little girl, Bella. She's 6 months old now. Must be a great joy amid all that terrible sadness.
Unbelievable. It was another member in the family. They are the shine of the house, and we are so proud. Me, Georgina, and all my kids. They are very, very proud for them. They are spectacular, a beautiful girl, and we are so happy. We are so happy. We are happy fathers.
You gonna have more?
I'm not thinking now to taking more kids. I think we done, but you never know. The future, only God know. But right now we want to have a break, to enjoy these ones because they are little, Bella 6 and the rest they are 5 and Christiano 12. We want to enjoy a little bit on this one. Let's see the future.
It's very difficult to play top level football at the best of times. It's a hard business in full public glare of millions of people watching. To have to go back and play after this must have been incredibly hard for you, even with your mental strength. How did you find that?
Difficult, very difficult to play after that, but as I always have good support from my family, and Georgina told me, go to play, go enjoy, to do what you like to do. We're gonna help for you to forget a little bit the situation. It was difficult, but at the same point I think helps for you to, to don't think much about that, even to training. It was good, but as you know, the football going so fast, and training games, even the national team, the things going so fast, you don't even have a time to settle and say what's going on, because the things going so fast. But it was good help. Georgina helped me a lot to give me that possibility to say.
She's a very strong woman.
Yes, she did.
Georgina.
Yes.
I mean, really strong.
Yes.
Just to be your partner is probably not an easy time a lot of the time, with all the attention all the time. But to go through what she's gone through and still get up and be there.
We help each other. But she struggled when she was young, which is she look at life with a different eyes. Even she's young, but she suffer. She's born in Argentina. She has issues with his family as well. She live alone. She have interesting life and histories as well. And she helped me a lot. She's very mature for his age. We help each other. Sometimes when I'm a little bit down, she pushed me up, and I do it to the other side. So we are a nice couple. We help each other. So I'm really pleased that she's on my side.
Any movement on the wedding bells, Christiano?
I'm not thinking now about that, but I can see in the future. I think she deserves, but it's something that not coming now in my plans, but in the future, yes, I want.
4 days after this terrible time in your life, United get a new manager, Erik ten Hag. Did you know much about him?
A little bit through Ajax, the job that he did for Ajax.
You end the season with 24 goals for Manchester United, including 18 in the Premier League, 6 in the Champions League. You were second in the Golden Boot for the English football. I mean, by any normal yardstick, that's an incredible performance. And yet you were still getting criticised. It was almost like, well, it's got to be your fault, even though you scored all the goals. Were you as bemused as I was that you were becoming the focal point for the criticism?
I think it's easy to point out when you want to cover other things, to point out Christiano Ronaldo. It's easy. Everyone knows that press, they wanna put me in the first page because they know they will sell more, the interesting will be different. And I'm used to live like that because I was 37. I know and I learn many things. When you are in the down of the wave, when you are in the top of the wave, you don't realize and you don't see things that you don't see before, which is I appreciate to have bad moments to see which people is in your side, who criticize you more, because they're looking for that. They don't like to see successful people. The people only try to bring negativism. And I felt the last 4 or 5 months that not only for me, but even for my family as well, for Georgina, especially around the world, the press criticizes me even more. Sometimes I don't understand why. Even Portuguese press, that they criticize me a lot. I don't understand, but I still believe that the jealousy is part of that. They want to cover many things that helps to shine other things. But listen, Piers, I know I'm 21 years in the top of the game, so I know all it takes. So for me, it's not a problem. It's hard when you are a little bit down to listen to this criticism.
Do you read it all? Do you read newspapers? Do you read social media?
A good thing that I have, I don't like to read, because I know 90% of the times they lie. They are garbage. The press, they are garbage. Not all of them, but most of them. They don't say the truth. And they lie. They constant lie, and they constant attack me and my family. They're always negativism against my family. Why I'm gonna read? Because I know they try to make me feel bad, me and my family, which is something hard to deal with. But in the end of the day, I understand, but it's really, really hard.
The problem you have is you're too famous. You are the most followed human being on Instagram. You have, I just checked, 495 million followers. I have just under 2 million on Instagram. 8 million on Twitter, so I'm catching you on Twitter slightly, but 400, you're nearly at 500 million followers on Instagram. That's insane. You're bigger than all the Kardashians put together.
It's good. It's good. I feel proud for that. It means a lot for me, because it means that people like me too. I'm charismatic, I think. Why I'm the number one? Sometimes I ask that question to myself. Why me and not another one?
Why do you think it is?
To be honest, not just only because I play good football, because everyone knows, but I think the rest is relevant. You have to be charismatic. People have to feel some connection with you. I think to be good looking helps too.
I have the same problem. Yeah, I feel the same way.
To be honest, Piers, I don't know the real reason, but I think I'm charismatic, and I'm a appetitive fruit. I don't know if we...
A what?
A fruit that people want to bite.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can say in English.
Any particular fruit? Or?
Let's say strawberry. But I don't know the reason.
I mean, what's incredible to me is the power you have.
Appetite
fruit.
fruit.
Appetite fruit.
I don't know if it makes sense in English, but if it don't make sense, you'll learn.
I'll research appetite fruit, yeah. I mean, I have a pinned tweet, and it's you telling me I have good abdominals, which is a very good observation. And it's only 10 seconds long. It's had 43 million views, this clip. So thank you. Because 43 million people have heard the guy who actually has got good abdominals tell me I've got good abdominals. But it showed me the sheer firepower you have in that world of social media. It's just extraordinary.
It's what I told you before. I have good things, which is you can sell your own product, let's say in that way, but you have to deal with many obstacles in your life too.
Do you care if people hate you? I mean, a lot of people love you, but obviously a lot of people don't. You're so big, you're going to get both. But do you care about the ones who hate Cristiano Ronaldo?
I care the people who like me. I'm not waste time for the people who don't like me. I think it's waste of time. These people, they are not interesting on my life. I like to be around the people who love me. I don't waste my time to see the criticism of people who is next to me ex-players, for example.
One of your biggest critics has been, and I'm surprised about this.
Me too.
Wayne Rooney,
for example,
who you played with for many years very successfully, and were good friends with him, and yet all this year, 3 or 4 times, he's come out and attacked you in the media.
Piers, I don't understand. You should ask this question to him, but I don't know. I don't know why he criticized me so bad, or I don't know if he's jealous of me.
He says your behaviour is unacceptable. United should sell you. Blah 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 blah. I mean, it's Wayne Rooney.
Surprised me. It was 1 year ago or 6 months ago here in my house. You pick up his kids here and invite Christiano to go to his house to play football. I really don't understand people like that, or if they wanna be in the cover of the paper, of the news, or they want new jobs or whatever.
Is it jealousy as well, perhaps, that you're still playing and still in the Man United?
Probably, because he finished his career with 30s, so I'm still playing high level. I'm not gonna say that I'm looking better than him, which is true, but
that is inarguable. I mean, there's no contest.
It's hard to listen that kind of criticize and negative about people who play with you. For example, Gary Neville as well.
Yeah, I mean, Gary Neville, you blanked him the other day on the pitch, and he looked quite upset, actually, because he obviously likes being your friend, but he's been pretty critical of you as well.
People can have his own opinion, but they don't really know what's going on, for example, inside the training ground and Carrington area, or even my life. They should listen not only one point of view, they have to listen to my point of view as well. Because it's easy to criticize, but if you don't know the whole story, it's easy, you know. But it's Piers, as I said before, it's part.
Are they still friends of yours, or do you have a line where
they are not my friends? They are colleagues. We play together. They're not coming. We don't have a dinner together, for example. But as I told you, Piers, before, it's part of my journey. They keep criticizing me, negativism every time. So I continue my trip, and I have to catch up the people who like me.
Some of your ex-colleagues have been incredibly supportive. Rio Ferdinand has always got your back. Roy Keane always has your back. Whatever happens, he's always supported you and has continued to do so. Does that mean a lot to you?
It means a lot, because I was in the dressing room with them. They are part of my journey in football as well. As I mentioned many times, Roy Keane for me was my best captain ever. Rio Ferdinand helped me a lot. He was my neighbor, I was his neighbor. So very, very good guys. Not just because they speak good about me, but they was there in the dressing room. They are football players. They know how players thinking and they behaves, etc. And to listen ex-colleagues or teammates to criticize you, and they always see one point of view.
Do you feel a bit betrayed when they do that?
Yes.
Because you played together.
It's easy to criticize. I don't know if they have a job in television that they must criticize to be more famous. I really don't understand.
Do you think they use your name a bit to
I think they take advantage of that because they are not stupid. And I really understand, and I have to carry on with my life with criticize or when the people speak good about you, but it's hard when you see people who was in the dressing room with you criticize you in that way.
It must hurt
It's
you.
not good.
Yeah.
Yes, I did, but not hurt. I'm not gonna be more slim. I'm not gonna sleep bad because of the criticize, but it's not good to listen that.
Disappointing.
A little bit, yes, disappointing.
Do you have more pounds in the bank or more Instagram followers?
It's a good question. Probably similar, I don't know. Probably similar.
I'm just trying to work out how Wayne Rooney could hate you even more, and probably that's the answer.
Well, not only him. Imagine the rest of the rats, they're gonna criticize me too. But it's good to be still number one. If you see something that make me happy too, if you see Forbes magazine every year at the top of the list, so it's not by coincidence too.
But knowing you, it's not the money so much, it's just you want to be at the top, right? I mean, that's what drives you. If someone said to me, what drives Cristiano Ronaldo? I don't think it's money, I think it's being the best. beating people. It's
Exactly.
that competitive streak.
The records, the adrenaline. But Piers, let's be honest. The last years, the football changed. I see football now as a business, to be honest. Sometimes the Georgian have an expression that I don't understand. They treat you players like a piece of meat. I say yes. You say everything. It's true. When they want you, when they count with you, they give you everything. When they don't, they try to make a hard life to you. I see football Piers, the last years as a business. I saw many things that I'm disappointed. The passion for the game is still intact, but in the same way, I saw other things as well, which is surprised me, but in the same way, it's part of the business, because if you see the world how it is in the moment, it's all business. Everyone takes on itself. They are more individual.
Well, you become a commodity, don't you? Where if you could sell a record number of shirts in 24 hours, great, right? But if suddenly the team isn't performing well and they need someone to blame, it looks to me like at Manchester United, the default position is it's got to be Cristiano's fault.
Exactly, it's always my fault. The problem is always me. I look like I'm the black sheep,
right,
which is I don't like. If you do it good or if you do bad, they're always gonna find some criticize. Even in the national team, the last 3 months, as I told you before, the criticize was so bad. I mean, not only in football way, but professional and family way as well, which surprised me a lot. Looked like I was a bad guy, which is not true. People have to listen from my mouth the real facts as well. This is why I give this interview, because I think it's the right time to speak out of my mind, which is what they say the last 4 or 5 months is completely garbage. I'm not gonna say 100%, but 99% it was garbage. People say false things or lie things.
Which things have annoyed you the most?
Family issues.
I want to talk about one in particular on that, which is when you were late back for the pre-season training. A lot of speculation, because you'd said several weeks before that you wanted to play Champions League football and that you were maybe looking for another option because it didn't look like United would get to play Champions League.
Let's make my points. For example, the pre-season moment, and after you mentioned new clubs or the interest. For example, the pre-season, I had a very bad, which is I don't say nobody. The people who surround me, they saw, friends and even my mom. I had some problems in vacation that my young daughter, they have a little problem. They have bronchitis, which is
Bronchitis.
Bronchitis.
Really?
Yes.
Your little baby.
Yes. I was in Mallorca on holidays and she stayed 1 week in hospital, which was, you don't enjoy a lot the vacation.
And after what had happened, so worried.
Exactly. The people make up histories that they say that I don't want to go travel. Piers, people have to understand that I'm a human being. I'm always going to be in my side of my family. I'm not negotiating nothing behind that. Understand? And I even have the lectures from the hospital, the feedback of the health of Bella, which is I'm not showing nobody. Nobody asked me. I keep for me. People forget that I'm human being, that I passed through a difficult moments.
Well, you must have been worried sick. I mean,
I was very worried.
You lost your baby son, and now your baby daughter's in hospital.
Exactly.
And you must have been absolutely.
I spoke with the directive and the president of Manchester United, and then kind of that didn't believe that something going wrong, which is make me feel bad.
Really?
Yes.
They didn't believe you.
They believe it, but in the same way they are there. I never is ever gonna change the health of my family for the football. Never. Now or 10 years behind or forward. And it's something that really hurt me because they doubt of my words that I struggle, especially Bella and Gio. We had 1 week in hospital because Bella had a big problem. And I didn't go to the pre-season because of that, because I didn't was allowed to leave my family if something happened to do it a pre-season because I think it wasn't not fair to left my family for a pre-season. This is why I didn't go.
I mean, that would, if my employer didn't believe a story like that, I would be so angry.
Because everyone, I'm not mentioned only in that Manchester way, but in the world, especially in the football world, they are very, very, very individual. Everyone on look for themselves or themselves. They don't care about your moments, your struggle moments, your issues, family problems. They want you. They want you. Doesn't matter your family problems. I don't mean Manchester, but in a general. As I told you before, the football world is so fast. You have many competitions, many games, pre-season, World Cup now. Listen, you have one game. After 3-4 days, you have to be in the national team. Preparation for the World Cup. It's hard. Sometimes you have to sell everything and, you know, be with your family, take the best decisions. And in this summer, I didn't feel comfortable. I feel uncomfortable the way they treat me, especially the press. They doubt about me, the professional that I am. It's impossible to be 21 in the top of the game if you're not professional. They doubt about me, which is make me feel very, very, very sad, because in my life I'm always one of the best professionals. This is why I'm still playing the high level.
You play in a pre-season friendly and you leave the ground early with several other players, and there's another huge fuss about this. What was the truth about that? Had you got permission to go? Do you wish you hadn't left early now? Ten Hag wasn't happy, it was reported. What's the truth?
Yes, I will be honest with you. It's something that I regret to left from the stadium, probably. Or maybe no, I don't know. It's difficult to tell you 100% if I'm... Let's say I regret. But in the same way, I felt provoked by the coach. I'm not allowed for me, a coach, to put me 3 minutes in the game. Sorry, I'm not that kind of player. I know what I can give to the teams.
You're talking about the Tottenham thing?
The Tottenham
Yeah,
player.
I'm talking about in pre-season there was a friendly where you left the ground with several other players.
Me and 8 players.
Right, so...
But they mention only my name.
Yeah.
Which is... Everyone do that. I don't understand why they mention only about high value kind of game. Last year, many players do it the same. In that game, 8 players do it the same. So, but they only speak about the black sheep, which is me, which is, I completely understand. Okay, it's done. I apologize to the coach, and for me, the chapter was closed.
It seemed to me that right from the start, Ten Hag wanted to show you who the boss was. That he dropped you, he benched you, he mucked you around, he talked about you in the press. Were you getting that feeling? I mean, did you feel that?
The feeling, he always mentioned to me that I didn't need the pre-season, so I should wait for my opportunity. I really understand. I should, well, okay, I understand. But I'm not gonna give you points, but he don't do it the same procediment to every players. I'm not gonna mention players, but they don't do it the same way. Second, I understand that becoming a new job, Manchester was so bad the last 5 years that they should clean the house, let's say in that way. But the way they approach, the way the press make this so big, it's because probably the communication wasn't the best. But I really understand in the beginning, because I didn't do the pre-season, I don't start to play. But going more farther than that, other things happen that people they don't know. And I'm not hiding that the empathy with the coach is not good. I'm honest.
You don't have a good relationship?
I'm not mean good relationship. The empathy is not good, let's say.
Do you think he respects you?
I think you don't respect the way I should deserve. But it is what it is. This is why probably the game against Tottenham, I left.
Well, I want to come to these two games. So against Manchester City, where United got destroyed, he didn't bring you on. He brought on other strikers, but didn't bring you on. And I felt insulted on your behalf. I was like, well, surely against Manchester City, if you're losing this badly and you've got the greatest player of all time sitting there, you at least give him some time, don't you? But he didn't. And he said afterwards, the reason was he had too much respect for you, wanted to respect you. When you heard him say that, what did you think?
Excuses. I see as excuses. I see how many things that I don't wanna criticize him. He can have different opinion than me, that they choose the players that I think is better for the team. I respect that. But the excuses all the time, the excuses have short legs. You cannot excuse all the time, which is things that don't make sense. Okay, you don't put me against Manchester City because of respect of your career, and you want to put me 3 minutes against Tottenham.
Well, that's the thing. So you then play Tottenham.
Don't make sense.
And then he wants to bring you on with 3 minutes to go, which is the complete opposite to what he said the situation was with City.
I think he did purpose. Because, for example, in the national team, the other clubs, if the coach wants to put me 5 minutes, if someone injured or if they really need me, I will help. But in that way, I felt provoked, not only because of that game, but before.
He was deliberately provoking you.
Everyone know that.
Disrespecting you, think.
Exactly. This is why I say I don't have respect for him, because he don't show me respect for me. This is why we are in that situation. I have to be honest that the things don't going well because of that, because the empathy don't exist. You keep saying things for the press, but the press say what they think it's good to protect probably him and Manchester United. But as I know, I understand many things, that he signed 3 years contract with Manchester United. Probably I'm not going to be too much long in Manchester United, apart when I'm finished my contract. I really understand, but I like guys that they don't lie, they speak honest, they be frontal. And I'm not negotiate my morals. My morals always will be intact. And what's going in my things the last 2 months was not respect in many ways, which is I can regret, for example, against Tottenham, to left the stadium before the finish.
Well, there's a video clip which appears to show Ten Hag telling you to get ready to come on, and you gesticulate back to him, I'm not going to do that. And as a result, you get suspended for the next couple of games, and he goes public and says it's because you refused to come on. And you did then issue a statement of some regret, saying, you're a professional, and you've never been suspended before, I don't think, in your entire career. I mean, when you look back at that, I guess my question would be, you've always been very acutely aware of your role model status around the world. Do you wish, with hindsight, you hadn't done that and handled it in a different way?
Probably. I regret to left the stadium. Yeah. But I was, as I told you before, I didn't felt that he had respect for me to put me on 3 minutes after the issues that we had before. I was very, 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 very disappointing for the communicator of Manchester United, to be honest. I never had a problem with any club, with any coach, and they suspend me 3 days, which is I felt a lot, and it was and level of sport clubs, I felt a lot, and it was a shame.
Was it humiliating for you?
I think so, yes. I have to say the truth, what I felt. I remember I arrived. Well, I don't want to say details what he pretend to do it, but I'm not going to say that. But I remember I arriving home and Christiano seeing me, Daddy, you don't go to the game? I said, no, because the club punished me with 3 days, and he do it like, how are they going to punish you if you are the best player in the world and you're not going to play? I said, no, I'm not going to play because I'm not being behave. And he look at me like, my daddy, behave what? In one way I was good because I was like more relaxed, but in the same way I feel very disappointed because, okay, I regret, I apologize. I'm not perfect. I commit a mistake, but suspending 3 days for that, I think it's too much, and they make fire for the press, which is really disappointing.
And that seems to have been the pattern of the way Ten Hag has wanted to treat you since he became manager. Just constant attempts to disrespect you, I guess.
Many points happen. I think in some certain points, I think was strategy from the club for me to react like that.
Because they wanted you to leave?
Probably yes.
Trying to force you out?
Yes, not only the coach, but the other 2 or 3 guys there around the club.
At the senior executive level?
Yes, that I felt betrayed.
You think they're trying to get rid of you?
Honestly, I shouldn't say that, I don't know, but listen, I don't care, I'm always, people should listen to the truth. Yes, I feel betrayed, and I felt that some people that don't want me here, not only this year, but last year too.
They didn't want you to go there at all?
No.
Really?
Yes. The owners of the club, they don't.
The Glazers?
The Glazers, they don't care about the club. I mean, professional sport. As you know, Manchester is a marketing club. They will get his money from the marketing. The sports, they don't really care, in my opinion.
You ever talk to them, the Glazers?
Never.
Never? Not since you've gone back?
No. They give all the power to the president, the sport directive.
A lot of Manchester United fans are very negative about the Glazers. They think they're taking all the money out and aren't spending enough. Players, the infrastructure issues you talked about. Do you think the fans are right?
The fans, they're always right. I think the fans should know the truth. Should know that the players, we want the best for the club. I want the best of the club. This is why I'm coming to Manchester United. This is why I love this club. But you have some things inside the club which don't help to Manchester reach the top level as City, Liverpool, and even now Arsenal, for example. Which is complicated. It's difficult. It's hard. In my opinion, it will be hard for Manchester to be in the top of the game in the next 2-3 years.
If they don't change. If the Glazers stay as owners.
I'm not mean the Glazers, but
the structure.
The structure. As Picasso say, you have to destroy it to rebuild. And if they can start from me, for me it's not a problem. I'm always going to say I love Manchester United, I love the fans, they're always on my side. But if they want to do it, different era, different generation, they have to change many things.
When you walked away at Spurs and didn't go on, Gary Neville said your behaviour was unacceptable, called for you to be punished. He said he knows what he's doing, he's experienced, and players of that power have a real negative impact when they do it. The influence they have on other players is really negative. And it's after that you gave them the old blank treatment, which was very funny, by the way. But for Neville to say that about you?
They don't see the big picture. Why I react like that? What's happened?
All the behind the scenes.
All the behind the scenes. I was probably not provoked. They will accept to play 3 minutes after the whole situation that going through the last 2 months. Don't tell me that top players, the guys who won everything, the key players, will play 3 minutes. Come on, this is unacceptable. After what they keep saying before, they respect me, they do this, they do that. For me, it wasn't not respect. This is why I take this decision. I regret. I apologize to my teammates for the situation I did post in Instagram. I regret to left from the stadium. I regret my teammates, they know what I felt. I said to them, apologize. But in the same way, I'm not regret to take the decisions to go down. I'm like that. I will be always like that. If you don't have respect for me, I'm never gonna have respect for you. And the coach didn't have respect for me, so this is why the relationship it's in that way, and he keeps saying in the press that he can't with me, like me, blah 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 blah. But it's only for the press.
Really?
Yes, 100%.
So where are you now in your head with all this? Because the World Cup is about to start. You're going to go there with Portugal. We'll talk about that in a moment. It's a very exciting team, actually. But where are you with United? They won't be playing again now until after Christmas. That leaves a few days before the January transfer window. Do you think you'll still be a United player come January 1st?
It's difficult to tell right now, Piers, because my mood is right now to the World Cup. It's probably my last World Cup, of course, my 5th World Cup. I don't know what's going to happen after the World Cup, but as I told you before, and I will say again, the fans will be always in my heart, and I hope they being in my side, even if I'm back or if I'm not back or if I stay or whatever. Nobody's perfect. Episodes in the life we all have. It's part of the human beings. It's part of me to be a human being and father as well. I always will commit mistakes, but I don't know. It's hard to tell you right now what's going to happen in the World Cup because my focus is always for the World Cup, for the Portugal national team.
If you had your time again, knowing what was going to happen, would you sign for Manchester United again?
As I told in the beginning, I'm always took my decisions by not emotional moment, but maybe this decision I took by emotional. I'm not regret because I took with 100% conscience, but it was more emotional than rational. I don't know if it makes sense. But it was good. It was good because I was happy when they left me be happy. So I tried to give my advice and my experience to help Manchester United to be where they deserve to be. I don't pretend to be more smart than the other ones. Nobody is smarter than me, but I'm not smarter than nobody. When I arrive in Manchester United, I always be available to help the team to do the good things, to put in the right spots, to compete with the best teams. But it's hard when they cut your legs and they don't like you to shine, and they don't listen to your advices. I think I have awards to advise to the club because the trophies that I won, individual and collective, I think I can help a lot. But when the infrastructure is not good.
What's amazing is you ended last season with hat-tricks, you're scoring hat-tricks for fun, one against Tottenham. You know, you were playing great football, but you were starting most games. And now this season, you barely started any game.
Something happened.
You know, I'd imagine you're a bit like a racehorse, right? If you don't start.
I didn't do the pre-season.
Right, right.
It's the excuse.
Right, which is
I did the
ridiculous.
pre-season, so.
You think if you'd been able to just do what you did last season, you just carried on scoring?
For sure. You think I did learn to score goals? Maybe I'm not motivated that I'm supposed to be, probably. As I told you before, Piers, I'm a human being. I feel the things. I'm not perfect, but my motivation is not the same that I was a few months ago. I hope to change.
Do you feel like you need a fresh challenge?
I'm not saying if it's fresh challenge, but let's see. I cannot answer right now because my focus is for the World Cup. But I don't know. Maybe it's good for Manchester and probably it's good for me as well to have a new chapter. Probably, but I don't know. If I will be back, I will be the same Christiano. But I hope people being on my side and let me shine like I did all the clubs and all years.
What is the truth about other clubs making offers for you? Some people have said there were no offers at all. I happen to know that there was a gigantic one from Saudi Arabia.
For example,
350 million euros for 2 seasons, is that?
It's true. Yes, it's true.
That's a staggering sum of money.
Yes.
Which you turned down.
In that moment, yes.
I mean, that to me says you're not just about the money.
It's what I'm gonna mention now. They say many